Good evening, Republicans and Democrats. Here we are, and Green Party and Tea Party and the after party. This is Thursday Night Life Music. And I'm here on the East Coast, pretty much, coming to you at 9 p.m. my time. And here's our logo, which you've seen plenty of times. It is November 5th, 2020, which is historically the time when we don't know who is president, and we all have lots of opinions about that subject. But tonight, it's not really going to be a thing. Because tonight we're all going to have a good time. My guest on the show tonight is Wayne Tucker. He'll be joining us shortly. For right now, you've got me and my ever-increasing size of a head. As usual, I have my mother here with me. I usually say, hi, Mom, to the screen, but I actually can go to the kitchen and say, hey, Mom, how you doing? All right, let's do it. Okay.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm really good. How's the gig?
Man, this was just busking. It feels like a gig because people watch. It's like a show, but
Yeah,
tiring. It's definitely tiring.
that's right. It's. I mean, I don't do it because I'm not a musician, obviously, but in some ways I have done it. But the historic way of busking is just like getting out there, doing what you're going to do, right? And the response is completely natural because no one's paying to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is cool. And you get a following, right?
Yeah, it's very true. I know what you mean. Like, I've definitely played in situations where they're responding just to the environment, like, and who they're seeing. They're responding to knowing what's going to happen beforehand versus
Right.
happening in the moment and like truly getting a following from it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, Wayne, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and
Yeah.
we're in the world and of the world, but I don't know. We don't have to be consumed by it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling you before that one of the great things about art and music, and I'll just say art because it's everything, is
Right.
that it soothes this savage beast. And the example would be, I'm driving around yesterday, getting all steamy, I know there's people crying about what's going on and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, let's focus here on the work. I get to hang out with Wayne tomorrow night. So I put on your record, your EP from last year, all by myself. And all of a sudden it was like, it's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those hearing your voice and just remembering. It took me back to our gigs, that we've sort of been in the same place. Your gigs usually, and I'm just there, and the family environment that surrounds you and the groups that you play with, and all of a sudden I was taken away, and it wasn't bothering me anymore. I mean, it was still present, but I was thinking, you know what, it's gonna be all right. Things come and go, and things change, regimes change, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like there's art doing the job, man. I love that.
I know just what you mean. That's like the highest compliment. So thank you. Like, really, that's why I play music. I suppose I play music to give people that that moment of peace from whatever's troubling them in life. Because everyone has. And when you record, I suppose it gives you a chance to give that to people on a recurring basis, which is an incredible thing.
Right. And in a same sense, I think this little program that I'm doing is kind of doing that too, in terms of giving people like the live music fix and the sort of like before and after hang that has been taken away from us since March. Even the lyrics. Now I'm going to forget them, of course, but the lyrics for the first song um, was just like poetic soothing as I'm hearing this, and I'm going to go back into my archives in my brain at a certain point to remember exactly what they were. But
Yeah.
it was you telling me like you're like, hey man, this is like happened before, it's happened afterwards. So tell me about um, Brass Against.
Oh, so Brass Against started as a protest band to Trump,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was inspired by Rage Against the Machine, and the the leader of the band, the guy who came up with that idea, Brad Hammonds, is yeah, he's an amazing guy, truly. Like I've learned so much from Brad about music, about meditation, about business, about how to interact with people and connect with people. Yeah, I mean, really, like an amazing. So he had this idea, and he just followed through on on the things that he sought for the vision of the band. You know, whether it was the songs that we were going to cover or the image that we put out. You know, visually by what we wear, which are white jumpsuits. Um, yeah, and the band has been touring since last February, and we toured a lot.
Mm,
Since between last February and March 2nd, when we returned from this March 2nd, when we returned from our most recent tour,
yeah,
like that, you know, year and month there, we were majority of that was on tour with Brass Against.
that's
And
cool.
I've seen how the music can inspire people politically as well. You know, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't say I'm a deeply political person. I know that it plays a big part in many people's lives and in my life as well. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It affects us, yeah, for sure.
it affects people, and I think it's important, especially because you know what we're lucky enough that if it affects us, we're still able to eat, and
Right.
so I yeah I would say that I'm lucky that I'm not extremely political or whatever, but you know, in these days, I feel everyone is. It's our
Yeah. Right.
responsibility, you know, and so
But
anyways, it's been a privilege to get deeper into that realm of life uh, through the thing that I love most, you know, which is music. So to give people
yeah,
uh, political empowerment through music is it's been an incredible experience for me, really.
yeah, that's very cool, man. And
Yeah,
you're right. We're sort of we are very lucky, and we're blessed that anyway for us individuals, I guess it's not immediately affecting the food that's going into your mouth, right? For some, it is. You know what I mean? And if you live some other places, it certainly is. And you can see how you would get a little more excited about what's going on if that was the case.
yeah,
Uh,
a necessity. Yeah.
yeah, but we all know how this has affected everybody, and it's like, well, it's just like the pandemic, right? It's like a huge, at some folks it really hit hard. Like all of a sudden, you don't have a paycheck, and you're talking about busking, but you're also talking about if we're talking about musicians who had gigs, you're talking about well, the weekly gig, maybe the two clubs that you played that week, that's gone.
Yeah.
If you had a tour planned for your record, and that was going to be sort of like your bread and butter for the next 6 months,
Yeah.
gone.
Right.
Even to the high profile folks who hopefully they can sort of sit it out for a year, but even those things, not happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
But have you found any positive um,
Yeah. Yeah.
resources because of it?
It's time. It's been free time.
Yeah.
Like the ability to just create for the sake of creating.
Hmm.
Oh, in the headspace of something that's deep. You know, it's not just like, oh, we're just chilling on vacation. It's like, yo, there's a global pandemic happening. There are
Yeah, yeah.
there are, you know, the politics of this country are exploding. You know, just think, yeah, think things are crazy. Things are just crazy.
Right. I,
So,
I, I told my mom she's here in like the other room, and she's got complete permission to, as long as we're not playing, to come in here and run and tell me if if Biden got Nevada or something like that, and we can
yeah, 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 for
You
sure.
know, I mean, that's
Yeah,
the fun part about the live television thing, right?
yeah. I can't wait for
It's
that moment. I think it's coming. I
I
really
think
think.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's it's scary to think if it doesn't happen. I mean, that's another. I don't even want to go there, but
that's
um,
correct. I don't disagree. It's scary if it doesn't. I should not celebrate before we're there, but I have a good feeling.
yeah, I do too. I sort of feel in my soul that what's right is going to happen, and that's a hopeful. I think we're all feeling that hope, right now.
Yeah,
And it's been a while, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree. I agree. It's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that you're watching Thursday Night Life Music, and that I'm your host, Lewis Achenbach, and this is Wayne Tucker, and I want to give you a little bit of a reminder of, real briefly, how Wayne and I, sort of met. Um, and this would have been at a Estrada concert. The first Israeli Jazz Fest in Chicago at City Winery. Little shout to the Israeli consulate of the Midwest and Maya Carmeli and Michelle, and it was like I don't know, just an amazing concert, and we ended up just sort of meeting and hanging out after that, and that's how these things start, man. It's sort of nice that that was sort of just kindled, and then you went on to even before this, you were working with Surreal and me,
Yeah,
you know, great friend of yours. I mean, I can't preach more about how wonderful she is. Um, and the associated band. We're talking about Tamir. We're talking about Hila Kulik. I mean, come on, it's just an amazing group of musicians with you. And I would have to say, with listening to your band leading records, Wayne,
yeah,
that is it fair to say you've been influenced by the band you've been touring with?
yeah. I think if with Surreal specifically,
Yeah.
um, we went to college together, and so
Okay.
so yeah.
Didn't know that.
Literally, I've been playing with Surreal since college, and
That's
that's been 15 years.
wow.
Oh, and yeah, yeah, man. Like we've even played during the pandemic. We played a couple of shows here in New York. We busked one night and we played an outdoor restaurant gig. But both, I tell you, shows because they felt like shows. It was
Yeah.
they're both special. And yeah, I feel like Surreal has been like a big sister to me.
Yeah.
And in a life sense and a musical sense. You
Right.
know,
That's
in
cool.
an amazing way. So yeah, I'm definitely very much influenced by her. I think the greatest, not maybe not the greatest, but the first thing that comes to my mind is this is how she's influenced me in the greatest way as a musician is to hear the music from the perspective of a singer, which is to be halfway between the musicians and the audience. You can still connect
Yeah.
with musicians, but you know how it feels to sit in the audience. And it's like how to
Right.
stress really feel both of those things.
Well, you've got those chops on your records, man. Especially this last one. This all by myself. It's like almost like, okay, man, I could hear Wayne a cappella this thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
really, just really good and really. I don't know. There's a strong tradition that you're following there, and it's also like like what could Chet Baker do that Miles couldn't do? You know what I mean? Like, Wayne can do this. You know what I mean? Like Wayne can hold his own. Singing and enunciating and all this beautiful stuff. So congratulations on that, man.
thank you.
Everybody, you should check it out.
Thank you so much, sincerely.
Yes, yes. Just let everybody know I'm talking about his EP, All by Myself. And there's ones before that that are also great. We got this awesome tapestry, this awesome rug behind you. We can talk about that later. But
Yeah.
um, Wayne, one of the things I was really looking forward to is just jamming with you and sort of washing away some of the stuff.
Okay.
A little bit of the tension and just sort of like working it out a little bit. It sounded like you sort of have a set list in your brain a little bit.
I just have I had an area I feel like I've had different like periods of music in my life, like things that I got really deep into different genres or different feelings of music in different periods, you know. And for some reason, just looking at your work, it made me feel like, oh, and thinking about like what this whole experience would feel like, it made me really think like, oh, I would love to just play ballads that make me feel like I'm a kid again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Wayne, I'm going to hand over the floor to you. My job is going to be to take what you give and turn it into color and form behind
Okay.
me on this canvas. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Thursday Night Life Music, and this is Wayne Tucker. Take it away.
Okay. This is an
This was a lot.
incredible experience. Seriously, to watch you do that, because I never get to see you do it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
This is incredible. Thank
Adam Zanolini was saying that the other day too. He doesn't, he's the guy who runs Elastic Arts Foundation in Chicago.
you. Yeah,
Amongst other things, a great musician. He was saying, yeah, like this is what I don't get to do, like square off, just like seeing what you're doing.
yeah,
And man, this doesn't happen unless you do what you do.
yeah, but this is amazing.
Straight up.
This is amazing. I'm enjoying it so much. I just want you to know that.
Thanks. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You have a very now that I'm hearing you playing just like this, what the thought in my head is that you have a very, I mean, just for now, a very vocal way of playing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's you're wording it out. You're not like chewing on it. Like you're talking. I love it.
For sure. Yeah. I actually hear it that way. Like if I'm playing something, I'm definitely hearing the lyrics if I'm playing the melody. And even if I'm improvising, I'm hearing it in the same way that you would hear it a scat, like in your own head. You know what I mean?
Huh?
Yeah. It's not pushing buttons for sure.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
And that makes it real for us. You know what I mean? Like,
For me too, when I hear musicians who just yeah, if it has a vocal quality to it, and
yeah,
when I hear it, I feel like I know them. You know what I mean? Like if someone just
yeah,
sounds vulnerable, like I can get to know them. It doesn't really matter their their stylistic preferences to me as much,
yeah,
or even their technical level. I want them to be at least like at a certain level, just so I can enjoy it. Like all the
yeah,
notes were generally right, but like, yeah, if someone gives you that feeling, like of
yeah.
yeah,
It's the you're inviting us into your story, man, and it's like, oh, he's talking to me. Even if you're like in the back of the room.
for sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was Embraceable You, and I should tell you that when I play that one, I hear two different trumpet players. Really, I hear Clifford Brown. He's got a recording with strings of Embraceable You, and then Wynton Marsalis, who's got a bunch of different versions, but my favorite is a live version from his discs live at the Village Vanguard. There are two different versions of Embraceable You on those discs because there's 7 different nights. I want to say that the one that I love is night 4. Yeah, but
Nice.
whatever comes second in the Embraceable, in the chronological order, it's whatever that one is. But like I can hear both of their sounds in it. And I tried not to play it like them, but I can just, I can feel the vibe that they give it. And
No, you played it like you, man. That's the beauty of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just say I'm inspired by their versions in that for sure.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a huge Miles fan, so I want to play something that I know of Miles.
All
I
right,
this one is actually by Thelonious Monk, but for me, when I hear it, even though I know Monk's version very well, it just reminds me of Miles.
all right. All right. Wayne
How
Tucker, everybody.
how do you decide what colors to use or what palette of colors to use?
I like to think that I don't decide. I like to think that I just go with the flow and try
Yeah.
not to be here as much as I can,
Okay.
and not make decisions. Really, like let the music make the decisions. You
Yeah.
know, it's a little bit of a cop out because there's not a formula, and that's why it's different every time. That's why I use a lot of colors, but it really is. It's that, and also so it's mood and emotion.
Yeah.
It's me feeling good because I'm jamming with you, and like whatever you're putting out there, it's my job to sort of grab it with honesty, and you know that's it.
Right. Right. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. You try to make the instinctual decisions.
right? Yeah, yeah. I like to think of it like it's a painting that's already done, and I get to just be the body that's here and move around, and you know,
Yeah.
that's a real when it's working like it's working tonight. For me, it's a sort of it's a churchy sort of feeling. Sort of
Yeah,
gets mine, and I'm just like, man, this is good. You know,
I hear you. It's a spiritual experience.
it is. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, I feel you.
You know, and that's oftentimes, that's what sort of got me into this, Wayne, too. Is that you're at a concert and you're feeling it, and then you see the musicians on stage doing what they're doing, and they're having that conversation on an even deeper level or a different level than the audience gets to experience it. Because they get to be the creators in that moment. You know, and that made me. I mean, I guess to some it makes them want to be a musician, and for me, it just wanted me to me. I wanted to get closer to the music. You know,
Yeah,
which meant like, all right, I'm going to do what I can do, which is paint and draw, and I'm going to show Wayne this afterwards and see what he thinks.
yeah,
And see if it if if my translation is in any way close to what it felt like to be up there doing it. You know,
yeah,
and the more I get that little bit of a yeah, like that's almost it, or like that was it. That kind of encouragement is like, well, then I'm on to something, and I gotta let people know. You know.
mm-hmm. Yep, yep. I understand. Yeah,
You know, it's a very deep visceral thing, and it's very real. Sort of get to why the arts are important because it gets you to that level where you're thinking of the new thing. Where you're letting your mind go to where it hasn't been before. Uh, you know, Whatever it is, solving problems, this and that. Um,
yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, it expands your mind in ways that you wouldn't necessarily imagine.
yeah,
And,
right.
I'm so grateful for it because it brings you closer to people that you would never be close with, but they serve a great purpose in your life and they teach you so much. And
Yeah, yeah. I hear this sort of thing sometimes with, the like actors on the stage where they can see the front row, where they can't see everybody until the lights are up, but they make that connection to somebody, in the front row, and they're just like, and you can see that that person's sharing what you're doing,
yeah,
and you're being very. I mean, you're on stage, you know what I'm talking about. You're
yeah,
being you're very emotionally open and exposed in what you're doing.
right,
You know, not just about your craft and stuff like that, but it's more about like you're really giving of yourself, and you
yes.
feel exhausted afterwards. And by the way, thanks for doing this gig after doing a long gig today.
Oh, of
I
course,
appreciate that.
it's a
You know,
blast,
yeah,
really blast. Yeah,
and yeah, I don't know what to say. There's this like just more of this. Um, I'm glad you're out doing your thing, man.
so I'm
And I
glad.
look forward to you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to. When things cool down next year and you're touring again, you know,
yeah. Let's.
uh, yeah,
I'll see you in Chicago.
that's right. Or I might see you in New York. You never know.
That would be amazing.
I get there too. But yeah, I don't want to stop you, Wayne. If you got some more love to give, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Mm.
This this is a wild process. Wild.
Wait, I'm almost hearing lyrics. Like
Oh, there are lyrics to that one.
you know,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I just mean like phrasing wise, like my brain was almost doing that storytelling thing. I'm like, all right, I don't know the lyrics, but I'm gonna make some up.
Ah, what was the song about?
I don't. Well, no, what not concrete lyrics. I would say
Okay, just
just like phrasing wise. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It was something about walking, and it was something about like a downbeat of continuing to walk in the same shoes or the same path or something like that.
interesting.
Uh,
Interesting. That song is about after you break up, still having love for somebody like down the road.
huh.
Yeah, it's almost the
Okay.
opposite of what you said, but it's not quite. It's all. It's kind. You're going down a different path, but you're still close enough by. You're like, I'm a telephone call away. It's all good.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like walking in someplace I've been before, and it was like, okay, are you gonna learn something from the time that you're walking down this, the second time, the third time, or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Uh,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
That's a great scenario to play out in my mind as we're playing through that sometime. Normally I sing that one. I've only played that instrumentally. I want to say it's the third time I've ever performed that instrumentally.
okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you you now I've heard this on your album some, which means now you're playing the trumpet, but you're also singing like with it, like doing a duet. Not straight up, but it's there.
Yeah. Which one?
I don't know. I'm just
Does that
I feel like
happens? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but not like straight up like the whole song is like that. But like you'll go into a phrase. This is just me listening to your records over the last couple of days,
Yeah.
and so they sort of, as you listen to them, they sort of blend a little bit. Um, I'm also hearing like the influences. I mean, part of me wanted to ask you what your influences were,
Yeah.
but then to a certain point, I don't care because I'm just a fan of you. You know what I mean? Um, but
Uh,
also, I'm hearing like on your records, New Orleans influence, and it's not just like duets you're doing with surreal and stuff like that. It just means, um, and also you can there's some tracks where you can not afraid to go to outer space, sort of like
yeah.
just take it deep. I think it's Tears,
Oh
Tears
yeah.
tracks, where it's just like, okay, this, not everybody likes the tunes that have to get there. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
some of that Max Roach stuff where it's like, okay, this is pain. You know what I mean? Like, let's hear it. You know what I mean? It needs to be played and heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. But
Yeah. Yeah. I do. Yeah. Tears was is the opening song to a short film that the main character is just getting kicked out of her Upper East Side home because her career's done, and she's broke, and this is like she just hit rock bottom.
nice.
Yeah.
I can relate. I lived on the Upper East Side for a while.
Okay. I'm
Just
glad you got out of there.
yeah. Well, I loved it. It was 97 in Park, so it's not like all the way up. It's up there, like where the metro shoots out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it been being in New York? Have you been in New York the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, there's something about it that's amazing and something about it that's terrible, like the amazing thing has been the community. I would say, and I'm
Yeah.
Brooklyn, and the community that we've connected with at Grand Army Plaza, like at the entrance of Prospect Park, has been incredible. Like for
Yeah.
example, today I got given a couple photographs by a guy who took some great photographs of us by the name of Naeem Douglas, and you can see his stuff on my page. Um, he came up to me today and handed me a couple of those photographs, printed out. and with an amazing, like, really kind note, you know, just telling us thank you for what we're bringing to the park. And for me, it's
Like that.
like, you know, in New York, it's not always like that, you know. Like a lot of
Yeah,
things are very, everything's very quick, you know. And for me, it's like, wow, this guy, I don't even know this guy, but he's taken his time, you know, to really like make me feel good and really thank me, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, just to see the regulars there, to see how people are looking out for the businesses as best they can, and the businesses are looking out for the people. I don't know. I've seen a lot of great things in that sense, just in the sense of community. People
yeah,
cleaning the neighborhood, you know, people
yeah,
giving food, whatever it is. It's been incredible. There's also been tons of crime. Like there's been a lot of, I think a lot of people, I'm sure, have lost their minds through what's going on, and I don't fault them, you know, but the
yeah,
repercussions of that, you know, on society are felt when it's in masses. And yeah, just
yeah,
to see a lot of the businesses that are still opening, or the open, I think many of them are actually thriving in this period. But the ones that weren't able to stay
huh,
open, I don't think they're ever going to be able to open again. And it's
right.
yeah, really from block to block. It depends on whether you're in the most beautiful and incredible, vibrant city that you've ever been to, or a complete ghost town. It's a really interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens after this. Say when people have vaccines, and are people going to be scared to open up again, or let's keep it at the, I don't know, like 25% of businesses are thriving, so we'll stay that way, or
I hope not. I hope they're able to open so that everyone can continue to survive.
yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be. I mean, personally, I think when this is all, when the pandemic is officially like, all right, you will get the vaccine. Please, everybody, do it. When it's proven and all that kind of stuff, of course. And like when the veil is finally lifted and we can actually like hug each other again,
Yeah,
that's gonna be meaningful, man.
yeah.
That's gonna be people are gonna write songs about like that week or that summer. You
Week,
know,
yeah, the best week and the best summer of my life.
right?
My most grateful one, at least.
You know,
Yeah,
just as a romantic, I think there's been like there's guys been wanting to like talk to this girl for like a year and a half, and they haven't been able to do it or do it in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, and so
definitely.
they're gonna be like, "Oh, I've been saving this poetry up for like a year and a
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
and here it is,"
There is,
and you know,
and also I think tons of people, whether it's something romantic or something in a friendship level, I think there's going to be a
yeah,
lot of vibes that are. I mean, for example, for me, in this time, I formed an even deeper vibe with a lot of my friends. You know, certain other
yeah,
friends I don't see at all, but the ones that I've seen, I feel like yeah, everyone's been through a lot, so you really yeah you get even more connected to each other, and it's been incredible.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and
And
you
it's not
mentioned to me,
just United States, of course. It's the world, man. That's the
yeah,
you know.
yep, yeah,
So it's like crosses that like we're all in the same boat.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. You mentioned before asking if my bandmates were influences on me, and I would say yeah, very much. You know, like whether it's Hila, Danny Denor was the drummer that you saw us with, or
Hmm.
Tamir or Sale. But I was going to tell you about Tamir because he's been one of the people that I've seen um, all the time. You know, there was even a period where he lived in my apartment during this time. So we've been playing like making music every day. You know, and today, for example, we played two gigs together. We played some a program for Jazz at Lincoln Center that's for kids together in the morning, and then we
Nice.
played. Yeah, then we played at the park in the evening or whatever. I've been doing that kind of thing with him the whole time, whether it's like sitting here at my house playing music or playing gigs out there. Like I don't know, just to connect with the people that you already know super well, even more deeply, both in
Yeah,
a personal and a musical sense, has been really amazing. You know,
yeah, yeah. And in the other sense, some people have also gotten closer to their family, because you're there where you are. Using Gila, for example, she was like, okay, I'm going back to Israel, and so she's getting spent some quality time, I'm assuming,
yeah,
with mom, and that's awesome,
I've kind touch with her, and she's definitely like it's great that she gets to see her family.
Okay.
I live 4.5 hours from my family driving. I can't imagine what it's like to live across the ocean from away from my
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
There's
man, it's been a weird thing. Everything's been whittled down to what's really important. Like
yeah
what, not just so much as what's essential because you figure out that haircuts aren't really essential, and getting your nails done if you're stuff like that. But
yeah
what's really essential is the stuff that's meaningful, and that's family, and that's being compassionate, and that's being like with each other and commiserating, and knowing that you're all that we're all nobody's alone here. Even if
correct.
somebody feels like they have nobody, guess what? It's the human race. You got somebody.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, I would say that most people that I've encountered these days, they do have more empathy for sure, and I know that for myself as well. Yeah, like I definitely feel it more just to look out for others, even if they're strangers, in a sense
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I hope that continues. There was a little bit of that after 9/11, you know,
Mm,
in New York, and I mean, after the tension, right after that. But after that, there was a little bit of a like, oh man, did we all just go through that and still going through it?
right.
It's sort of like came out of nowhere. In a similar fashion, this pandemic did the same thing. Where it's just like, boom, here it is. You can't stay wherever you are. Stay where you are. And I was
Yeah.
with a few people. Thanks. This is my stage manager mother. Let me know I've got 6 minutes before it's uh yeah, and I was like I lost my train of thought there.
After 9/11, New York, the vibe.
Yeah, and it was there was a after that went away. It was you're commiserating with each other. The pandemic is doing I think the same thing. Where
Yeah.
people are going like, okay, we've all been through this. I mean, I feel bad for the kids that are growing up, sort of like coming of age in this last year and a half is going to be like normal. Like this is normal. You're like walking around with masks,
Yeah.
staying 6 feet apart, and we're like, no, 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 no. There's a whole history of us hugging and kissing. Before that,
Oh
that's
man,
going to be fun.
definitely.
That's what I want to see. I want to see videos of grandkids hugging and kissing their grandparents when they haven't been able to do it for a year.
That's gonna be
You
crazy.
know, that's what I want to see. I want to see musicals and plays and records about that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. That's
just that raw. I'm commissioning artists out there to please do stuff like that, or start the outline now because it's coming. And
that's a great idea. I will. I'll get on it.
we're having a really good time. I'm getting
So,
a representational here. I'm not sure if you can see the top. Is that sort of like your
yeah,
head? And I'm doing two forms of the trumpet there, sort of like you holding it up and also down. It's straight up abstract, but tomorrow I'll take a picture of it so you can see it in a cleaner fashion.
great. Yeah, no, I
But
can see the general idea for sure.
it's
It'll be amazing.
man, I love doing this. Wayne, do you have something like something short to close
Yeah,
with?
yeah, I got you.
All
This
right.
is inspired by Louis Armstrong. Hmm.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wayne, I didn't think I could hear that song in a different way, and you just did it, man.
Oh, killing. Awesome.
That was awesome.
Happy to hear.
That was mom and dad giving you the
Thank
you
you,
the
Dad.
audience.
And I'm glad they're safe.
They are. They're
Glad they
safe. They're good. They're happy to be here.
Great.
Wayne, I've been happy to be here, man. This has been pure, and this has been fruitful.
Yeah.
You know. All right. Well, I guess we're coming down to it, and to make sure we don't run out of time, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition, a very, very special election edition.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at right now. Come on, Nevada. Of
Yeah.
Thursday Night Life Music. I want to thank you all for joining us. This has been Wayne Tucker coming from Crown Heights. And this is Lewis Achenbach coming from Pottsville, Pennsylvania tonight. Thank you for joining us. Wayne, I look forward to seeing you out. And thank you, brother.
Yeah. Have a beautiful night, Lewis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.